Just heard from Scott Pruitt and Sean Spicer. We have media reporter at thehill.com, Joe Concha, the author of GOP GPS, Evan Siegfried, and former DNC Deputy Press Secretary Jose Aristimuño. Good to see you all. Joe, I'll start with you. Once again, you see a media that is angry, that doesn't like what the president decided to do on the Paris Accord, and really made that the #1 priority, letting the economy, jobs, fall to the side again.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think got Donald Trump elected? What issue? #1 issue?
I know what got him elected. It was the economy.
Economic, right?
Yes.
By far, going away. And during this press conference we've been tracking, there were 0 questions on a jobs report. How could that be? Instead, it was all about, you got Jim Acosta from CNN, may worry, meaning him, that you're putting your head in the sand over climate science. Another one was to Scott Pruitt, EPA. Why did you celebrate at a French last night? Was that symbolic? These are the questions that we're asking. Meanwhile, people in middle America are like, can we hear a little bit more about the jobs report and the economy? Yeah. This is why the press is hated so much.
You say this, and you're absolutely right. I want to point out a new Gallup poll that just came out showing economic issues are still #1 priority right now for Americans. 21%, that was the most polled, say economic issues. And you know what? Environment, pollution, that ranks right down there at the bottom, 2%. I'll tell you, Evan, to a certain extent, it's almost like a luxury, right? If you can be that worried about climate change, and you're not worried about where your next meal's coming from, you're not worried about how you're going to pay for your kids' college education, you got climate change to worry about.
Well, if you're really worried about climate change, why weren't you outraged at the deal in the first place? Because the Paris Accord was a toothless, ineffective climate change agreement that really had no enforcement mechanism, so you could violate left and right, and it was meaningless. And I think there's a lot of hypocrisy on the part of Democrats because they went out and with the AHCA and attacked us Republicans when we said something is better than nothing. And now they're saying, well, staying with the Paris Accord, something's better than nothing. We should do that.
I think you make a very important point. Jose, one of the things that troubles me about this whole Paris Accord is if we agree that we need to do something on climate change, then gosh, why not do it? Why are we allowing China to continue polluting at the rate they're polluting? Why allow India to do that? Why allow Russia to do that? Why not actually come up with an agreement that changes that?
Look, this is the agreement that we had in place. And you want to talk about China? Let's talk about the fact that now that we're pulling out of the Paris Agreement, China can now produce more renewable energy, go towards solar, while we sort of stand back and do nothing.
What stopped them before?
This is historic. This is historic. The fact that we're getting out of this agreement is dangerous. I mean, this is a huge mistake.
We're going against. You say it's dangerous, and I keep hearing this. I keep hearing people on the left are so worried about what it's going to mean. I talked to a friend this morning, and she's not really on the left or the right, but she's buying into all the rhetoric that she keeps hearing, and she's worried. She's concerned that somehow the world is going to fall apart as a result of all this. Really and truly, Evan Siegfried, what will this change?
Well, as much as I really do want to see places like New Jersey underwater, as Democrats claim this will happen, this would not cause anything. There really was.
Talking to a Jersey boy here.
I know nobody's perfect, but let's be honest. This was an imperfect deal that never had any teeth to it. And Jose is saying, well, now China can go out and do all this really bad stuff. What stopped them before with this?
Yeah, there's a lot of politics at play. Joe, you think about all the mayors across the country. Bill de Blasio is one of them here in New York City. They're saying, hey, we'll do our own deal with Paris. We'll have our own accord in these various cities, because it seems to me they're saying this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity maybe to get some of those Sanders voters into the fold.
That shows you how symbolic it is, right? 193 companies and an American municipality in New York is going to jump on board. But the reason why your friend is so scared, because an editor from Vice said, your kids are going to die from climate change. Huffington Post, CNN, Trump to Earth, dropped dead. Even the ACLU, this is the best one. Pulling out the Paris Agreement would be a massive step back for racial justice and assault on communities of color. It's a racial thing,
I'm on a hard break. I got to take a commercial.
Sorry.
Thank you, Joe. We'll be right back. Evan Siegfried and Jose Aristimuño are back with me. Jose, do you have a problem with this?
Look, this is crazy. You can't deny people medical coverage, Trish, simply because they have an addiction. Because let's be real, if they have an addiction, they're not going to tell us that they want to get tested.
You're saying, hey, you got to go to some kind of treatment.
They're not going to go. They're not going to want to get tested. They're addicted to drugs. Of course, they're not going to admit it. Like it's logic.
But shouldn't we be helping people to help themselves? In other words, why is we as a society want to encourage horrific things like addiction? Shouldn't we be saying, hey guys, we'll help you get better, we'll help you take care of this? But you gotta have to want to do it, right? As a country, we have to want to start laying down a law here and saying, you know, enough is enough. Let's get people better. Let's get them healthier. Let's not just give them handouts that they can't do anything with, Evan.
Sure, but that's not the way to do it.
Hang on, Evan first, and then back to you, Jose.
If this were a bill which we're saying we just want to point the finger and say you're a drug addict after we drug test you, I would be against it. But this actually says we will still give you coverage and we'll actually help you get into treatment programs. Why are Democrats opposing treatment programs for people with drug addictions beyond me? Also, it's a fiscal thing because it is the state that's paying for the state Medicaid, and they're trying to find the problem early and take care of the problem now. Drug addiction is considered a mental illness by the National Institute of Health, and we have every responsibility to help.
You know,
but the longer
idea,
you go,
Jose, that you want to fight this is almost preposterous to me, because what the government here is trying to do is help people that have addictions and start setting up some parameters, and you just want to keep on going with those handouts, thereby encouraging. No, don't laugh about this, because this is serious. We have problems with opioid addictions in this country, and something has to be done about it. Yet you just want to bankroll them and say, okay, fine, keep it going. Doesn't somebody have to stand up and say enough is enough?
What I'm laughing about, Trish, is that your guest says that drug addiction is a mental illness, which it is.
The National Institute of Health says it is.
I am agreeing with you, but which is why they're not going to admit that they want to get drug tested. Like, let's be real. This is not going to work.
That has no correlation with what you just said.
Come on. You can't.
Facts are facts, not things you pull out of the air.
No, wait, let me finish my point. We cannot put together, marry a condition, a disease, okay, that they have on getting health care. That's unconstitutional. I promise you, if Governor Scott Walker gets his way in Wisconsin, this is going to go all the way, maybe to the Supreme Court. We don't know, because this will be the first thing that happens. This is unconstitutional. It's not going to work.
I want to follow your logic. You think taxpayers should be shelling out their hard-earned money to people who are on drugs yet refuse to get any kind of treatment for it? I mean, that just is bizarre to me, Jose. You got to start putting some parameters up. And it's horrible. Addiction is a terrible, terrible thing. And we need to help these people. And effectively, you're standing in the way of that help, saying we're just going to continue to allow them to spiral downward. Things do need to change. I think Wisconsin's coming up with a rather innovative solution. We'll see where it goes. Evan, Jose, thank you so much.
Thank you.